Regular human New Year's resolutions for our animals all year round. Today we're going to be talking about how we all need to take care of not only our physical fitness but also our mental fitness, and how we like to learn new things and new skills, and so do our animals. We've got Caesar here, and like I said, he's an emperor scorpion. These guys come from West Africa, so think the Congo region. And they are one of the largest species of scorpion in the world. So he's a pretty big dude. These guys are most commonly found in leaf litter, in very covered places on the ground for the most part. They can also be found hiding out in termite mounds because their absolute favorite thing to eat is termites. Caesar here is about 6 years old, we think, and he is full size. They do continue to molt and shed their skin and grow a little bit throughout their lives, but this is typically about the size that they reach. I'm wearing gloves right now, not necessarily because he's super venomous. He does have a stinger, but his venom isn't super potent, so it wouldn't hurt me too much. But he does have big pinchers, and they could possibly hurt me. And Caesar is also new to being out like this. We talked about in the beginning learning new things, and the thing that Caesar is learning is how to come out on our hands. Caesar did learn how to target, so he had a little sparkly pipe cleaner that he actually used, and he would run up to the end of it and grab it, and he would follow it around his enclosure, and his reward was being able to touch it. Sometimes we use food when we're working with animals to give them a reward for doing something that we like. But sometimes we find that food is not super desirable to an animal. So Caesar here really didn't care much about food. It's not super motivating for him, but touching new things was actually really motivating. So he uses his little pinchers to feel the world around him, and he realized that the sparkly pipe cleaner was the best sensation in the world. Very odd, but it's really cool that we have the opportunity to work with animals of all kinds, including the littlest guys. So the newest behavior that he's working on, he's doing an awesome job of right now, is being out on our hands and just being calm and relaxed while we talk about him. These guys are ambassadors, so a lot of animals that you've seen on the Facebook Live so far, they have all been our ambassador animals. And those are animals that go out to teach people all about their species. They're ambassadors for their species, just like you might have ambassadors for a country. And in order to be an ambassador, an animal has an important job of being able to be out and be calm around people. There are lots of different ways that you can go about making sure that an animal is a good ambassador, but the way that we do it here at the Memphis Zoo is through as much force-free methods as we possibly can. We want to give our animals choice and control. There have been a lot of studies done that have shown that if an animal is given a choice, they're more likely to say yes to what you want them to do. I think of it as the same way for humans as well. If I'm told that I have to do something, I'm not going to be very happy about doing it. But if someone asks me if I want to do something, then I'm more likely to do it. And the same thing is true for animals. So Caesar here will walk onto my glove when I place it in the enclosure if he wants to come out with us. And if he doesn't, he'll just stay put where he is. So he gets to choose whether or not he wants to come out. Now when he does come out, he gets to explore, he gets to see new things, he gets some exercise. He's what we call treadmilling on my hands here. He's super relaxed. You can see that his tail is not up, it's just curled, and his pinchers are down. But he gets to run around on my hands and get some exercise and have some fun while he's out. So that's why he continues to choose to come out. So this is actually the first time he's come out on hand for an actual program. So you guys are getting a really great view of him. I didn't mention a time frame in the beginning because he is new to this, so the time frame will be up to him. He might choose to be out for 5 minutes. He could choose to be out for 15 minutes. We'll let him decide. But if you guys at home want to learn a new skill, this is a great time to do it. It's a new year, and you can be just like Caesar, the ambassador emperor scorpion, and learn something new to keep your mind sharp. I think we're going to check in and see if you guys have any questions about scorpions.
So we just had someone wanting clarification. So this is an emperor scorpion, right?
Yes, this is an emperor scorpion. They're found in West Africa. There are a lot of scorpions that look like them, but he is particularly an emperor scorpion.
And then right now we don't have too many questions, but Bella, I know you really like working with these guys. So kind of like I asked you yesterday about our toad, what are some of your favorite maybe facts about scorpions?
Well, thank you. I love to talk about these guys. Particularly scorpions are really cool because they're really great moms. These guys will carry their babies inside of them for 9 months, just like us. And then when they give birth, that's right, they give birth, they don't lay eggs, about 10 to 12 babies will come out and they'll climb onto mom's back. And mom will carry them around on her back until they're big enough to go off and get food on their own. So they're really, really awesome as moms. They take care of their babies pretty well, which I think makes them a lot more like us than we maybe think because they do look very different to us.
That is really cool. So we do have a couple questions coming in.
Awesome.
So for one, let's see where to start. How many species of scorpions are there?
It's a great question. We don't necessarily know because there isn't a lot of research done on invertebrates, like these guys who don't have a backbone. So we don't necessarily know because there are new species being discovered every single day, but I believe it's over 500. I could be wrong on that though. We can fact check that later.
That is a lot.
Yes.
And then we have another question from Liz asking how his eyesight is. Does he rely on his sight a lot?
That's a great question, Liz. So he doesn't rely super hard on his eyesight. He has 6 eyes, and they're all really tiny, tiny on the top of his head. They're mostly used to make sure that he can tell if something is coming towards him or if something is going above him. So he really just sees light and shadows. He doesn't have great eyesight, but you might be able to see that he has a lot of little tiny hairs all over his pinchers in the front there. And like we talked about with him liking to feel new textures, that's how he feels the world, is through those hairs on his pinchers. So you can see him walking with his pinchers out first, and that's because that's how he discovers the world around him. He really just feels things, which is pretty cool.
That is cool. And then Amanda said her son Jackson would like to know, what does a scorpion drink?
Ooh, Jackson, I really like that question. It has actually a pretty complicated answer. So these guys can drink water, and they do drink water just like we do, but they also have that venom in their stinger, and they use that to liquefy the body inside of their prey item. So they mostly eat termites like we talked about, so they'll inject their venom inside of a termite and then they'll drink it like a smoothie. I think that's pretty gross. I don't know that I would want to drink a termite smoothie, but I'm really glad that there are animals in the world that do want to drink termite smoothies. I really like that question.
And then we have a couple of questions that I think kind of go hand in hand. So,
awesome.
Are there any species of scorpions found here in the United States that could hurt us? And what should we do if we see a scorpion in the wild?
Awesome question. So we definitely have lots of scorpions in the United States. I'm from Arizona, where we do have a species of scorpion that is highly venomous. So there are plenty of highly venomous scorpions in the United States. And that's why it's best to just leave them alone. If you're outside in the wild, you can admire them from afar, but you don't want to handle them or pick them up because not only could they hurt you, but you don't know if they're going to be venomous, and also you don't know if you're going to end up scaring them a lot. So we want to make sure that we leave wildlife wild, and it's totally fine, just like with a venomous snake, to admire it from afar, but then you want to let it go on its way so that it can be safe and happy and continue to eat bug smoothies for us. If you find one inside of your house, the best thing you can do is the same method that we recommend for any bug, is to put a cup over it with a trusted adult and then slide a piece of paper gently underneath it, then take it outside and release it back out there. That way you don't have to touch it, so you don't have to worry about any venom, and it's safe and happy again to go on eating those bug smoothies.
So we talked about maybe some answers for some people who might be a little wary of scorpions, but maybe on the opposite ends of the spectrum, for people who like scorpions, do scorpions make good pets?
That's an awesome question. So you can get scorpions as pets, including emperor scorpions, but they have a lot of special care that is required for them. These guys need 60 to 80% humidity, and they need a lot of different things. They need special lighting, special heat. They need all that humidity. They have to eat bugs, so you have to be okay with feeding them bugs. And they also can live to be over 10 years old. So you want to make sure that with any pet you get, you're doing lots and lots of research. Caesar and Palpatine, who are ambassadors, have been ambassadors for a long time, and they're still just learning how to come out and see people. So if you're looking for a pet that's really interactive, they wouldn't make a good one. And again, most wild animals don't make good pets. But if you are really, really interested in one, just make sure that you're doing a lot of research and making sure that you're getting them from a place that breeds them here in the U.S. instead of out in the wild. We don't want to be taking animals from the wild.
Nice. And let's see, we do have some questions coming in. So a question about emperor scorpions of how big do they get? And a question from Max that we might have to explain a little bit, but what makes a scorpion an arachnid?
Okay, so these guys, this is about the size that they get. So say this is about 4 inches. They don't get too much bigger than this. Most scorpions don't. This is basically the size that they're going to get. So it is pretty impressive compared to a lot of other scorpion species that get to be maybe just 1 inch. And as far as what makes them arachnids, let's scroll back a little bit and go into what makes them an invertebrate first. So invertebrates are animals that don't have backbones. So we have a spine, just like cats and dogs as well. But this guy doesn't have a spine. Instead, he has an exoskeleton. And that exoskeleton, as well as his mouth parts, make him not only an invertebrate, but an arthropod. And then when you go even deeper into arthropods, you get arachnids. And arachnids are things like spiders and scorpions and whip scorpions. And they all have 8 legs, and they have special front appendages. In scorpions, they're called pinchers. But if you look at a spider, they have what seems like another set of legs, but they're shorter and in the front. And they're not legs, they're actually just modified pinchers, basically. So they all have those 8 legs as well as those front appendages. And the family of arachnids includes lots of different things. It includes spiders and scorpions and pseudoscorpions and whip scorpions and tailless swift spiders and even mites. So it's a pretty big family, but they all have those 2 things in common.
And I think our question to kind of wrap up in talking about their pinchers, how strong are their pinchers?
That's a great question. We don't exactly know how much pressure that they can use in their pinchers, but they could definitely hold on really, really hard. They can break skin. Their pinchers are serrated, so like a bread knife, they're kind of like this. And so they can slice through a lot of your finger, but not necessarily bone crushing. It just wouldn't feel very good at all. And that's how he's able to eat things like termites, because termites have a really hard outer shell, just like scorpions. They have an exoskeleton, so he uses those pinchers to crush those guys. But again, you can tell that Caesar's really calm. He's doing an awesome job, and this is keeping his mind active and healthy for the new year, and that's something that you guys at home can do as well. So let us know what you're going to be learning for the new year. And from here at the Memphis Zoo, it's Caesar and Bella signing off. Bye, guys.